Boom. All right, what's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about why Bitcoin, the king, still unfortunately looks like it wants to make its way down to $30,000 or lower, given all of the global macro factors at play at the moment. Disclaimer right off the bat, you guys know the deal. I'm still bullish on Bitcoin when it comes to the long term. Nothing is going to change that. The fundamentals are still strong. Bitcoin has solidified its place in the financial markets for likely the rest of our lives and generations to come. That said, bull markets don't last forever. Things don't just go up to the right forever, as much as some of the youngins out there would like to believe, okay? Corrections are a healthy part of every long-term bull market, and it looks like that's the environment we are currently entering at the time of recording, okay? So let's go over a few of the topics we'll be covering, and then we'll dive on in. To kick it off, we'll be reading through the CNBC Pro article. Bitcoin bounces after a dip below $33,000, but analysts still expect deeper losses. So we'll go over a few points of this article. Quick read here, just go over a few, I believe three different separate analysts' opinions, and they all play to the downside. And of course, I am adding a fourth opinion to those bearish opinions as well. After we read through this, give you guys my 2 cents on my personal, just kind of expand on a few of these points if I feel necessary. We will be diving into the charts, talking technicals. I'll talk to you guys about some downside price targets I see coming into play. That 30,000, whenever 4 or 5 days ago now, Bitcoin to 30K, February 1st, that came. So far, so good. I mean, when it comes to that, it's almost beating me to the punch right now. But I do still think February 1st, we could very well see $28,000 to $30,000, and I will explain why that is, okay? So that's the video, you guys. Before we get into it, it would mean a lot if you guys do give the video a like if you do want to gain value from it today. I know a lot of you guys like being bulls. Trust me, I like being a bull too, but adapter gets slapped. I'll keep saying that because it's the reality. There's winners and losers in the market, and again, if you're not a winner, you're a loser, okay? So give the video a like. Let me know in the comments down below if these videos have been pissing you off. Definitely stirring with the pot a little bit more lately, but that's just the nature of being a bear sometimes. And I mean, that's the market, you guys. This is a cycle that will go on for the entirety of your lives as a trader, however long you choose to stay involved in the markets. All right, that's the cycle. That's the game. Like life, there's ebbs and flows. There's ups and downs. That's nature in general, okay? So, again, like means a lot. Let me know in the comments down below whether you agree with me or whether you are just seeing red watching my videos nowadays. Either is all right. Appreciate the engagement. And subscribe to the channel. If you're new around here, for some reason you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Really means a lot. Help your boy get to 50K, and one day we'll make it. One day, okay? And of course, if you guys do want to know how I will be trading over the next few trading sessions, because not only the crypto markets are seeing blood, today was an absolutely bloody day for the equity markets. I'll be recording a video that I'll post tomorrow morning talking about what we saw in the equity markets today, the S&P and NASDAQ. Wild day, absolutely roller coaster of a day. But I will be gone for the rest of this week. No more videos for the rest of the week. That said, I will be writing the daily newsletter. I will be updating my personal portfolio every trading day during market hours. Okay, that is my obligation to my paying subscribers, to the real ones of the Waves fam. Appreciate you guys. But complete breakdown of my entire portfolio, I do update that every single trading day during market hours. And along with every update, I also send out an email newsletter explaining my thoughts and rationalizing my trades for you guys. Okay, so bloody week ahead. I mean, again, today was bloody. The past few sessions have been bloody. Luckily, myself, hopefully many members of the Waves fam, we're ready. We're well hedged, and I've actually been printing these past couple trading sessions, okay? So feels good. But again, you guys, there's always a bull market somewhere, even if that bull market requires being a bear. And I'm bearish right now, and that's okay, because sometimes being a bear can be lucrative, okay? So first link down below. Once again, appreciate it if you guys check that out. If not, no worries at all. Appreciate you watching right now. Let's take a look at the charts after we cover a few opinions here. Okay, so investors have been shedding their positions in crypto and other risk assets all month as concerns intensify that the Fed is preparing to hike interest rates and tighten monetary policy. Last week, the tech-heavy NASDAQ fell into correction territory. Stocks extended their declines Monday. The Dow fell more than 1,000 points, and the S&P briefly dipped into correction territory before turning positive. Quotes, we are of the mind that Bitcoin could potentially dip below $30,000 and Ether could trade below $2,000 before we start to see some stabilization, said Leah Wald, CEO, digital asset investment manager of Valkyrie Funds. Quote, Looking longer term, the digital assets we have the strongest conviction in, have the strongest backing, and should hopefully be able to weather this storm. 100 again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, those aren't going anywhere when it comes to the long term, you guys. This is just, again, when the dollar's going up, everything is going to go down, and risk assets are the first to go. That's just global economics, basic financial economics 101. Okay. Quote, until then, we are likely to continue this Wild West dynamic with a significant period of choppy trading this year that mirrors 2020 before we return to a risk-on environment and start to see significant moves upward in Q4. So that makes sense. Again, you guys, there's fear in the markets, and a lot of times it takes fear a lot longer to dissipate than it takes optimism, okay? And that's just the reality. Fear lingers a lot longer than optimism. That's the unfortunate truth, and you'll learn that the longer you spend time in the markets. Okay, Michael Rinko, an analyst at global macro hedge fund Paraval Global, excuse me, noted that $30,000 was also seen as a key level for Bitcoin that eventually became a selling point for buyers and marked the bottom. However, Bitcoin is still relatively nascent, and that recent history may not be enough to say if the same will happen now. Rinko said he thinks Bitcoin could drop even further. However, quotes, it's difficult to think of a single positive macro catalyst over the next 3 to 6 months that could reverse this recent price action. That's a big thing, you guys, is the fundamentals at play right now. There's everything going on though, but primarily it's the rates. It's the strength of the dollar, okay? It's the raising of rates, which ultimately just is by nature of what that does to the macro, it devalues everything that trades against the dollar. Once again, it's like you can point to the Ukraine and whatnot. You can point to all these global kind of chaotic scenarios that may potentially happen. Ultimately, it's the strength of the dollar. Dollar goes up, everything else goes down. Okay. And if there's fear in the market, everyone's getting margin called, everyone's over leveraged. This is what we're seeing now, and that's just, again, this, you're going to see this again. Just wait a few years. This is just part of the cycle, okay? So, and more ominously, there are several dangerous events on the horizon. Like I just said, federal open market committee meeting Tuesday, inflation expectations in the war in Ukraine that will force investors to de-risk even further. Last quote from this girl, Amber Goddard, this woman, sorry. If markets remain risk off, we see another leg down to the $28,000 range. She added, looking at the May 2021 slump, we see some similarities with whales taking profits a few months before the correction, followed by the relative strength index dipping below 30 and staying there for several weeks. Okay, so again, you guys, even though the RSI, which is this bad boy on the charts right here, and RSI right now, if I'm being completely honest, isn't even that low. Let's move my fat head real quick. What is RSI at on Bitcoin in the 4 hour? So we're at about 46 at the time of recording, 46, 47, which is not a low RSI, you guys. It's pretty likely that we're going to dip even below that. Where were we right here? What was this on that real big dip to the downside? I mean, not even the big dip down, but when we're at 34, RSI is the lowest RSI got was 18. So that's a pretty damn low RSI. But again, you guys, fear takes a long time to dissipate. Once fear is instilled, and the big move to the downside today catalyzed a lot of fear, not only in the crypto markets but the equity markets as well. That's going to linger. We did see a massive bounce again, covering the huge dip and the massive recovery that the equity markets made right after this. But again, you guys, although we are bouncing, this is the textbook dead cat bounce. This is a textbook relief rally. That doesn't mean we're re-entering the bull market, and it's very likely once again that we re-enter a bull market anytime in the near future, at least until, at this point, again, Q4 2022, I think that's a safe bet. If not, maybe even moving into 2023 in the case that there is more macroeconomic headwinds at our face, okay? So regardless, Bitcoin from a technical perspective, the volume is great. You're seeing a lot of buy volume here on that massive dip we saw this morning down to $33,000. But again, this to me just looks like a good old dead cat bounce, little relief rally. Same thing we saw in the equity markets. We're still setting on a short-term 4-hour candles right here. We're still below this previous lower low. I do think short term, it's possible that we come up to about 38,000, maybe 38.2, 38.3, really, because we didn't touch this lower low over here. Okay, previous floors, the previous lower low will likely act as the ceiling for the new lower high. I'm sorry. So it would make sense maybe if we come test this 38.2, 38.3 region, but I don't think we make it above that. Stock futures at the time of recording, it's 4 p.m. Hawaii time. So we got some futures data coming out. Stock futures are down after that little recovery, end of day recovery we saw. So if the U.S. equity markets are down, Bitcoin and the NASDAQ are now holding like the highest correlation they've ever had. If the NASDAQ continues to fall, Bitcoin will continue to fall. I'm bearish on the NASDAQ, and it seems pretty likely to me that Bitcoin will follow suit. If Bitcoin tests the line of support here, that same one that gave me 30K, the 30K theory, along with, again, all the fundamentals at play, all the negative fundamentals at play. Bitcoin is still using this previous line of resistance right here on the downtrend, broke back into it, creating this higher tier ascending channel, these two white lines right here, currently in this kind of downward wedge descending channel, and really using this line of support well. So if we do test this line of support on January 1st, let's go February 1st, exactly February 1st, this line of support on the current descending channel would take us down to $28,500, which also came into play back here. If we go to the daily to close it out real quick, if you go to the daily here, these are the levels that I'm personally looking at for good old BTC when it comes to downside price action. You can see this was the low that we saw in June, that candle wick low, at least the daily candle low, to $28,500. Wouldn't be surprised if that comes into play either. But honestly, you guys, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these levels actually comes into play, given the, again, just everything that's happening in the macro general bearish sentiment. Bitcoin is right now, all trends are broken, all trends point to the downside, all technical and fundamental indicators skew bearish. That means we are in a bull market, you guys. Unfortunately, again, that's just the reality of the market. If you don't want to think so, keep buying Bitcoin. But I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Bitcoin come down to, 20K. It wouldn't surprise me. But I'm my money's on the fact that we probably honestly see like $23,000 to $24,000, and that's the real bottom. That's where we start trading sideways prior to another bull, or prior to resuming the overall long-term bull rally. I'm not going to say we're heading to new all-time highs once that initiates, but I do think that that is where we'll start to trade sideways, maybe between 25 and 35K for a while, prior to actually reigniting that spark that will lead us to new all-time highs, hopefully in 2023. Okay, so that's the game, you guys. Stay patient. Keep them diamonds strong. If you're just a holder, dollar cost average is not only in Bitcoin, but in all growth assets and all assets that we talk about here on the channel. If you don't have time to actively trade, and again, you guys, this is my job, and it's still like, it's a lot, even swing trading. It's not day trading, not just staring at a screen, but swing trading, trying to optimize profits. It does take time. It's emotionally draining as well. So if you guys have fundamental conviction in the long term of Bitcoin and Ethereum, etc., dollar cost average, every day it goes down, buy a little bit more. Not financial advice, it's just common sense. So again, let me know in the comments down below what you think about Bitcoin, about the greater crypto markets right now. If you've been buying on the way down, if you're waiting for the floor to set in to start buying, let me know in the comments. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. So until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.